Welcome into For What It's Worth, episode 36. We did promise Rashee was going to be here. And the last time he was here, we said after Rashee Rice makes his comeback, Ray, you're back on the pod. Well, things happen, but it doesn't matter because we got the one and only Tyrone Thornton right here. Tyrone, how's your day going, man?
It's going pretty good. I feel like I'm kind of in the grind right now. I feel like October is just like it's right before we get to the holiday season. So it's kind of grind time for people. People are probably grinding to get, I don't know, Christmas presents, Thanksgiving's coming up. I feel like these next couple of weeks, I guess Halloween's coming up, but I feel like I'm just going to move through Halloween. And then it's like fun time or happy time, I guess.
Yeah. I always said that I thought Halloween was a little bit overrated of a holiday. I get the fun of it, dressing up. You get to eat candy, especially in your college days. I mean, Halloween's a fun time, of course. But I always thought it was a little overrated. And I do look ahead towards more Thanksgiving and Christmas. But you're right. People are out there shopping for Christmas gifts. I had to help someone the other day buy a pair of shoes that they were getting for their grandson for Christmas already. So now might be the time. Although I'm a little surprised that people do that because, like, why not just wait till Black Friday? I know it's going to be busy, but that's when all the best deals are going to be. I don't know.
Yeah, my grandma, she's the type. She shops for Christmas year round. I'm pretty sure she's
That's
all.
smart.
I think that's maybe just like a grandpa. They probably just like, you know what am I gonna do on my Tuesday? I'm about to go Christmas shopping. Which I mean, hopefully I get to reach that point of my life where I just want to Christmas shop on random days.
I was gonna say it's got to be nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a procrastinator about everything I do in life, so Christmas is no exception. I'm ordering your gift about 2 weeks before, maybe a week, and I'm sweating that it's gonna get here in time.
Week.
Just do it every year. It never fails. So, but part of that too is like, hey, I got to get my Christmas bonus. I gotta wait for the money to hit the account if you want something nice. So
yeah,
but yeah, Christmas shopping year round might be the move. Well, we're going to jump into the NFL Week 7. We're not really going to give our winners or losers. Well, Tyrone, I am going to let you take this episode away here for a little bit because I know you have probably some strong feelings. I know you went through an emotional roller coaster watching your Denver Broncos take down the Giants. I'm going to share my opinion here in a second. The question I'm posing, and then I'm going to pose you a question. You can answer the question, but also just talk about the game and your thoughts. Did the Broncos go out and win this game, or did the Giants choke away the game?
I'm going to say the Broncos won this game. I think, I consume a lot of sports media, and I feel like I kind of have a pulse to what the general media feels like. If this was not the New York Giants, I don't think people would be framing it. The Giants choked the game. No, they did not. Bo Nix and the Broncos went and won the game. And I think all the times people look to discredit or do not mention the great things Bo Nix does. People would rather talk about how he sucked for 3 quarters, which is true. He did not play well. But honestly, I blame that entirely on Sean Payton, the offensive guru of the Broncos, who runs screen passes and run plays. And he hides Bo Nix from the other team. I think maybe he's scared to put his real plays on film. We're in week 7 of the NFL. You can call your real plays, my guy. You can call your real plays. And when he lets Bo Nix off the leash, guess what? He balls out. A stat for you guys if you want to know. Win behind in the entire season. Bo Nix has 11 touchdowns, 0 picks, and over 1,000 passing yards. When he's down, when he's losing, that's when you're supposed to play your best, right? When your back is against the wall, that's what he does. That is exactly what he does. And in the last 3 weeks, he's had 3 fourth-quarter comebacks. I don't know what more you want. So based off that trend alone, I would say the Broncos won the game. They came back and took the game over. That's the theme of the Broncos season so far. Broncos play bad, then they start to play better later in the game. Jackson Dart and the Giants, they just ran into a team that overcomes adversity. And there's no way we're losing on Demaryius Thomas Memorial Day. That would be insane work. Like, actually, that would have been crazy, nasty, insane, damaging work.
Yeah. It was an emotional day. I saw the video of his mother touching the statue. Yeah, you can't lose on a day like that. Not against the Giants, who had been talking crazy all week as well. I agree with you. I think moments do matter, and Bo Nix has been stepping up in the moments. Did he play bad 3 quarters? Sure. Did he step up in the moment when it mattered? He did. As you mentioned, is he coming back in the fourth quarter? Is he leading these comebacks? Yes, he is. But I can't fully say that it was all Denver coming back because the Giants, there was some fingers to be pointed. Of course, you could say the main finger to be pointed at is the kicker, especially when he missed the last extra point to make it up, to go up by 3. Then you could blame the coach, Brian Dable, who, or not even maybe him, but maybe your D coordinator, who decided to only rush 3 and then drop 8 on that final pass from Bo Nix that set him up for field goal range. Why would you do that when your defensive front, your front 4, is literally your team? That's what everyone was talking about coming in here. This is your, why would you give him all that time? So you can blame the kicker. You can blame either the head coach or the D coordinator. Daboll's still not out of it because he went conservative too towards the end there, which I don't think was very smart as well. Run, interception, run, pass.
That deep ball was there too. Dart overthrew that guy, and people aren't talking about it. He overthrew that guy and he missed him.
He overthrew twice. And so then, okay, so then that brings up my point then here is, why did you get away from letting Dart run the ball or using him as an option? Because you did it in the red zone near the goal line, finally went back to it, and you scored off of it. He scored. He uses his feet. He wasn't able, he threw a pick. Then he overthrew 2 guys on crucial downs. Why wouldn't you try to involve and use him in a different way then? Obviously, he's not getting the throws. He's facing some pressure. It's nerves. So I think there's some fingers to be pointed around. Yes, I am not going to take the fact away that Denver scored, 33 in the fourth. I'm not going to take away that Bo Nix used his legs and was efficient using his legs. He picked up a huge first down, picked up a touchdown. It's a mix of both here. And I think the fact, to your point here, and you were mentioning the screen plays and how that was kind of holding Bo Nix back, I agree. But also, it actually ended up being their saving grace toward the end because the front 4 for the Giants were heavily over pursuing. They were running right towards the quarterback. In that fourth quarter, they were just trying to hit Bo Nix. They overplayed. Tibbetts screwed his team over. On the option where Bo Nix kept it for a touchdown, he was too indecisive. Then he got cracked down on another long run. Again, they were over pursuing in the fourth. There's a lot of fingers to be pointed around, I think, when it comes to how the Giants, quote unquote, choked the game away. But yes, I'm not going to take any away from Bo Nix. I'm not going to take anything away from Dobbins. In fact, I have to give praise. When you guys were down 19-0, you didn't necessarily give up on the run game. You still let Dobbins, he had a huge run that from the toss, 32-yard run. And then that was the drive that ended with the deflected ball that Franklin came up with when you were trying to hit Sutton. Mm-hmm. So Dobbins was still a factor. And then that always led to defenders had to watch, was Bo Nix going to keep it or the running back going to keep it? Because you guys never really got away from that. So, but yeah, Sutton too came up clutch. To set up the field goal. And then that first drive that really started all this scoring, he had a great catch on the sideline. So I think
that was an amazing catch. That was an amazing catch. Amazing. The Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton connection is the most underrated, under-talked about connection in the league. It's money. It's literally, I think I said in the group chat at some point, I said, let Bo Nix just throw it to Courtland Sutton 4 times in a row. I guarantee you something positive will happen. I guarantee you. Voila. Need to get a Sutton jersey. That's how much he's balling.
And I will say too, before you go on, I just want to say last thing that also too, I have to give credit to the Broncos here and say that it wasn't necessarily the Giants choking away because the refs almost gave the Giants the game.
Nah, yeah, they sold Riley Moss on that one.
That Riley Moss PI.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
With the stakes of the game like that, comeback victory, and you're gonna call a PI on that? Come on now, that's pretty bad. I usually do not really complain about flags, but that would have been a literal game-changing play. Game-changing. Game-ending.
And you know how I was talking about Thibodeau and how he was messing up, and I can't believe it just popped in my head. The guy that cracked him, that allowed Bo Nix on the 18-yard touchdown run, was Sutton. So
there you go.
Not only was he making the great catches, he was also setting the blocks. So he was doing it all.
Every time.
Yep.
And lastly, I think that when we look back at the reason why I think the Broncos won this game and the Giants did come back is when we look back on this game, when the season's over, when the season's over and it's complete, whatever the outcome is, I think it's more likely that this game will be the Broncos move to 5-2, Bo Nix had a really clutch performance. Bo Nix and the Broncos carried on. They stay in the AFC hunt. They stay relevant in the AFC West, opposed to the Giants selling it, because more likely than not, the Giants weren't going to do anything. They were more likely than not. They were not going to do anything, and it just seems like this is just a little hot streak. The Giants were a cool, cute story, but overarching in the season, this win, the Broncos winning and coming back, means way more, dramatically more than the Giants losing the game. The Giants are going to lose a bunch of games. Honestly, they're not going to. This Cam Scatterboo, Jackson Dart stuff is, it's cute to me, honestly. The real story is the Broncos are on a 4-game winning streak. Bo Nix is turned into, literally, no exaggeration, he's turned into one of the clutchest players in the NFL. That is what the story of this game is and will be. If the Broncos are down in any of their games the rest of the season, this story will be, well, they were down 33 at some point, or they're down in the fourth quarter and they put up 33 points. So that, regardless of what the score is in any of their fourth quarter games, people are going to say, well, I guess they can come back. If the Giants won that game, or when the Giants have leads, if they have a bunch anymore, are they going to say, like, is it really that big of a deal if somebody says, well, the Giants are known for losing games and blowing leads? Well, duh. The Giants do that because they're not a good football team. That's been the story consistently. That's not like a new thing. Like the Giants selling, you could put that on every game for like random games throughout the past like 2 or 3 years, and I would have believed you. Like, you could have said that when Daniel Jones was the quarterback. Giants have the lead and they sell it. Well, okay, yeah, duh. It's the Giants. They aren't good. They aren't good. Yep. The Broncos coming back, that's a new thing.
And I think, too, at some point, you have to look at your head coach and why these things keep happening. Or you have to look at your front office. You keep losing. Week 1 last season against, I think it was the Commanders for the Giants, couldn't make field goals. Lost because they couldn't make extra points, couldn't make field goals. You lose again by not making the extra point. So there's blame to be put all around. Yeah, at some point, how much runway are you going to give Brian Daboll to, quote unquote, prove himself? At some point, if you can't change what's going on, yeah, you could argue that, well, now New York has their quarterback. Now there is some swagger with the team. This game was just, like you said, kind of was a comeback down to earth. You guys were having some fun moments, some cute moments, taking down some teams. But no, when it really comes down to it, you're right. The Broncos winning is the bigger story here. It's about what they're doing in the moments. And think about it, too. They had to make 2-point conversions to even get this game to where it was, and they were converting their 2-point conversions as well. So the bigger story, you're correct, is that Denver won, but I can't say fully that it was Denver that came back, because I do think the Giants did make some mistakes, but that's going to happen, too, with a rookie quarterback like the pick that he had. You're going to have to pick your battles. I think this was kind of a comeback down moment for them. And again, it's huge for the Broncos because, yeah, you lose that against the Giants, and there's going to be some talks about, well, now the Chiefs are going to run away.
Altering loss. Sean Payton's job is in question for sure. I definitely would have got on Twitter and said, Sean Payton, what's up, man? Yo, what's going on?
Especially if you didn't score as many points as you guys ended up doing. If you guys would have ended up losing.
Terrible work. Also, to all those people talking about Jackson Dart, superstar, no. I'm not having it, man. I am not having it. Because Bo Nix wins games like this, and people will still be like, oh, no, he's just mid. Look at his first 3 quarters. But the quarterback that lost is a superstar? Like, come on now. It's getting really unfair. It's getting really unfair out here. I heard some people saying that Spencer Rattler was better than Bo Nix. Like, come on now.
That's crazy.
I don't know what more Bo Nix has to do, to be honest. Like, you would think that he didn't come back and they're not 5-2. And he didn't make the playoffs last year. You would think all those things are true. That he sucked and he loses games like other quarterbacks. Caleb Williams, who just happens to be on a winning streak right now.
Yeah, and it's not even because of Caleb Williams either. It was their run game that helped in the last one, and their defense. Their defense now, I believe, if I'm correct, I don't have the stat right in front of me. If not, I know for a fact they're top 3. Their defense is top 3 in takeaways now. It was the Jags leading, and now here comes the Bears. So it's not even really Caleb Williams that's doing the work. So that's that too. But I agree with you. It's the moments that matter. It's the fact that Bo Nix is showing up in those moments, and they're still in contention here. And I think it's truly the Chiefs' biggest threat right now in the AFC West. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Chiefs real quick. I wish This is where we had Ray, because I know he would be a little more energetic than I am about Rashee Rice. He loves
he was
Rashee
at the
Rice.
game.
I know he loves Rashee Rice, man, and he's a great player. I just don't know if I have the same kind of energy, but I'm going to try to keep it up here. Make Ray proud here and whatnot. But the fact, Ty, that I think your biggest thing, at least when we were talking in the moment, of course, probably a little upset that all these Chiefs fans are raving and whatnot now, is that he only had like so many catches for so many yards at this point. Like he wasn't 80 yards, he wasn't 90 yards, it wasn't 15, none of that. It wasn't big numbers. Well, that's not his role. And his role now is going to be the fact that you're opening up the red zone. The Chiefs have struggled in the red zone at least the past few years. So now the fact that you have that, and the fact that he scored his 2 touchdowns in the red zone, it's huge, Ty. This is what Rashee Rice is going to bring for you. Not only that, think about it. Their first 3 drives, they scored on. They scored on their first 3 drives. Where did those? And it wasn't gifted. It's not like they had good returns. It's not like there was a penalty that set them up. It's not like the ball was kicked out of bounds. They started at the 8-yard line. That's 92 yards for a touchdown. 16-yard line. That's an 84-yard touchdown drive. And the 6-yard line. That's a 94 touchdown drive. The chain moving, the drive efficiency with someone like that, it just opens up your playbook. It opens up your offense. I don't know how you don't see what Rashee Rice brings to this team.
I think Rashee Rice is a pretty solid player, and I think what you're saying is true. Also, keep in mind that they are playing the Raiders, and a lot of people are like, look at what the Chiefs' offense is opening up and doing. They always beat the Raiders bad. The Chiefs were going to beat the Raiders pretty bad without Rice. I can tell you that. They were going to beat them handily without Rice. It's just that before, Chiefs were like, we're back. The offense is going to be back. I don't think the Chiefs are back from anything. I really don't. I think that if anything, they're back to being healthy. I don't think the offense is all of a sudden opened up. I think Patrick Mahomes is just playing like an elite level quarterback again. And he was doing this before Rice came back. And I think that he is opening up stuff for the offense. But before he came back, the way that Chiefs fans, the way that the narrative was around him was that he's going to come back and be a game breaker, breaking the game open. I don't think he was. I think what I seen from him
16
was
targets.
What you're describing from Rashee Rice, getting other players open. That to me is a decoy. That's a decoy, which means the defense is perceiving you to be a threat, and the offense is using that perception of you being a threat to get other people open. I think that's not real production. I think that's just a placebo effect.
How's it not real production? This guy is the yard after catch king. They're setting up routes that thrive on after the catch.
This is where are his yards after the catch? Where are his yards after the catch? I want this. Like when I'm thinking about, like, I seen it with my own 2 eyes. When they get to the red zone, his 2 touchdowns, the one over the shoulder, I'll give him that one. The other one, jet sweep. Okay, you just got schemed for a touchdown. Schemed up for a touchdown. The other one, did he get a direct snap that got called back that he scored on? That's just them scheming up stuff purely to get Rashee Rice's confidence up and all back, which is great coaching by Andy Reid, I will admit. But that's not like he's out here one-on-one routing receivers up. He's not doing stuff like JSN, just out here going absolutely nuclear every game, 100 yards, a touchdown every game. He's not breaking on the scene like similar to like a player like Emeka Ibuka. These are receivers, I think, that are actually out there just going out and making plays. He right now is a piece on the board that Patrick Mahomes can use, which is important. But I do think that the more that he's just used as a piece and not actually breaking the game open, defenses will respect him being a decoy less. It's going to be.
I don't think he's necessarily a decoy, though. Yes, when he's out there, there's a threat that he's going to either tear you up underneath, or that the fact that you got to pay attention to him, then that opens up for something for Kelsey or Thornton that we saw down the field against the Raiders. I don't think he's a quote on. He's not. I don't even think he's really a decoy. He draws that kind of attention. Ty, there's a difference between being a decoy and just drawing attention to yourself.
I think that is not going to work against teams that actually have good defensive backs. I don't think that's going to work. I think teams that have great DBs, well, maybe it's because I'm just a Broncos fan.
It might be.
Teams with great DBs, they're just going to man him up and say, beat me on these routes, throw him the ball, I dare you to. If he catches it and burns us for 150 yards and has a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns, so be it. Because it turns out the other receiving core on this team, I don't really trust them. Xavier Worthy to me is just Marvin Mims who plays in a Chiefs jersey. That is just a fact. That is a fact. He's just Marvin Mims, a guy that runs fast. He just happens to play with Patrick Mahomes, which is a huge factor. But player for player, by themselves, individually, they're not scary players. Rashee Rice does not put in enough work to legitimately be scary. It's just Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid who are scheming these guys up. So if I was a defense, I'm just going to say, all right, we're just going to blitz them, and hopefully they don't make plays because we have really good
But they're
DBs.
going to. You have Patrick Mahomes. They're going to make plays, Ty. It's the Chiefs. Yeah, that might
work
for another team. This is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well,
it's going to work.
It's going
to work.
If that does not, that's your best option. That's your best option. If not, what happened to the Raiders would just happen to every team. You would just get walked down the field slowly. I'm at least going to have to let him see. Let's see if he can make a play. Let's see if one of these receivers.
And he does, Ty. He does make
a play.
He has.
I'm going to be honest. What do you have? 4 catches, 47 yards, 2 TDs. That's not moving me. I'm unmoved. Rashee Rice, I'm unimpressed by her performance. The most impressive, the 2 best Chiefs offensive players last week were A, Patrick Mahomes, B, Andy Reid for scheming those guys up. That's it. All those other guys not moved by really at all. I guess Pacheco is playing better. I guess Tyron Thornton's still out there running fast. I guess Kelsey's doing solid. I guess. And this is against the Raiders too.
It's against the Raiders, so I'll give you that. That's fair. That's fine. You can argue that. I mean, a lot of the teams they have, or all the teams that they've run against, aren't very good teams. You can argue that. That's fine. But the fact is, where I think you're wrong is I think you're comparing apples to oranges here. You're comparing Rice to these other receivers that's what they do. They are more of a quote unquote receiver. They're going to go up there. They can get jump balls. They can burn you on routes. It's not just yards after catch. But that's not Rice's game. That's not how he's built. 139 of his 1,226 career receiving yards are after the catch, Ty. 69% of his yards are after the catch. This is just how he plays. This is just who he is. And the Chiefs like that. You can use slants, RPOs, screens, a back shoulder fade that he caught in the end zone. He can be utilized on all routes. And the big thing is, that's why you do the short routes, the slants, the RPOs, because it's what he does after the catch is where he brings the most value. 10 targets on 16 routes. And that was Reid saying that we were, holding him back a little bit. It's against the Raiders. It's his first week back. So if he's doing that on his limited snap count or a limited just count in general, I don't know what he's going to look like when they let him loose, Ty. It's going to be dangerous.
I don't think that's I think that's the thing. Letting him loose, I don't really think that is like, I think that he is there. I think the idea of Rice at this point right now, the idea, the theoretical thought of him doing this thing is the concept that is opening things up. But this is his first game back. The more games that he plays, I think that idea decreases and decreases. And me, personally, I'm willing to say that this theoretical potential of him doing all this stuff is going to get less and less and less every game. And when you eventually play a good defense that realizes, man, this guy actually isn't like tearing us up. It's just a thought of him tearing us up that does it. That is it. That is it. And if it opens up the game, like I said, for these other players on the Chiefs, I am unmoved. I am not moved. I'm going to be honest. I'm not moved. Worthy, unmoved.
Because of who's throwing them the ball.
Pacheco, Hunt, unmoved. Hollywood Brown, unmoved. This is mostly some of the same guys, Juju, that had the most drops in the league not that long ago. I remember these things when they had the most drops. Like, this is not like insane to imagine the Chiefs receiving core outside of Rice. I'm not worried about, and I would like to see him tear the game up. I want to actually see him do it. If he has the same production as he had last week, every game, that might be all they need him to do, honestly. That could be all they need him to do, but I'd be really disappointed in the opposing defenses if that's all it takes for the Chiefs to just power through the rest of the NFL.
Well, you're saying that like they're going to have Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice. That's the first time that they've all played together since acquiring all of them. And you're talking about going off concept. Okay, we can do that. In the first half alone, on a limited count, just the first half, he hauled in 6 of 8 targets for 36 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, let's go off the concept then. That was just a half a football, and he had 2 touchdowns. He was targeted 8 times.
The Raiders. This is against the Raiders who suck. The Raiders suck. I'm not gonna lie.
We haven't even talked about Tyrone. Who's throwing him the ball?
Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball, which I'll give
this
respect.
Team has won. Patrick Mahomes has won games with Marquez Valdez-Scantling as his wide receiver, Sky Moore as his receiver. I could go. He's done this with way worse. So now that he has good receivers, why isn't this more dangerous? The fact that you have Rashee Rice could open up the game. Yeah, you're opening up the game to better receivers now. His best wide receiving core he's had. It's dangerous.
Probably the best wide receiver core he's had. But actually, I don't know. I'm unmoved by these players. Like, I am unmoved. Maybe I think it's maybe my perception of receivers to me, because every time I think about what receivers can do, I imagine them going up against the Broncos. That's just where my mind goes. So maybe I have to place them against teams that literally don't have defensive backs that are going to lock that down. Against the regular NFL team, that strategy will probably work most of the time. But I think against teams that are like, all right, well, I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to blitz you and make you throw it up to one of these receivers who I don't think is that good. I think that's the best defensive strategy you can do if you have the players to do it, and just bet your money on will Patrick Mahomes connect with that guy over there who I don't think is that good, which could be a silly bet to make. That's the only bet you can make, opposed to just letting him drop back and dunk and dime you. That's real bad to me. That's bad. That's the equivalent of NBA teams saying, all right, we're going to let Steph Curry shoot the threes and let's just see how many that he can make before he misses. He's not going to miss them. He's not going to. So you might as well try to double team him. Try to switch it up. Get in his face.
That's fine. You can do that, but I don't know what you're not understanding here is that it opens up the game to receivers that are capable. It's not like these guys. Here's some people he worked with last year: Justin Watson, Montrell Washington, Justin Ross, Nico Remigio, Sky Moore, Nicole Hardman. You're not going to get a lot of it. Things are going to look good because I would rather throw to Xavier Worthy. I'd rather throw to Hollywood Brown. I'd rather throw to Travis Kelce than some of these guys. But yet they were still winning. And Mahomes didn't even have that great of a year last year stats-wise. Even throwing-wise, he was still kind of off. And yet they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Now you have his favorite weapon in Rashee Rice, the most targets. You have his favorite weapon. Travis Kelce is not of old Travis Kelce, but he's at least being productive enough to be somewhat considered that right now. The run game still needs to be worked on, but I just don't understand how you don't see how. Yeah, are these guys Jackson Smith and Jigba? No, not everyone can have number ones. Not everyone can have what Cincinnati has.
That is what I think. I think that. Thank you. You just made it click. That's my thing. I don't think the Chiefs have a real number one receiver, and I think at the end of the day, that's going to hurt them. The Chiefs are working with the idea of we can put a bunch of number twos around Patrick Mahomes and with Kelce, who's like, I guess he's a solid tight end at this point. He's not amazing, probably average to good. All right, put this around him and no running game, and that will be enough. And I think that's not. I don't think that is. I don't think that's enough. I do not think that's enough. I'm gonna be honest. I think you need some real number one guys that go up and go get it and go make plays for you. And maybe Patrick Mahomes can. That's probably why Patrick Mahomes is number one for MVP right now, because he's carrying these guys. And I think at some point, you're gonna need that extra boost. And or maybe you'll get you need a Kelce legacy game. You need something to get you over that hump. That's just what I think.
But I think now we're finally coming around full circle here, and what you just said and who I just brought up is. It's a different team, Ty, and yet Mahomes was doing this with way less talent, and now he has more talent. It just opens up the game more.
Does he have more talent though?
And the thing is, no. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're arguing. Well, he doesn't have a number one receiver. Since Tyreek, has he ever really had a number one receiver? And what do? They get to Super Bowls.
They have gotten to Super Bowls. They have did that. They have did that in the past before. Will they continue to do that?
Why not?
I do not know. I've really yet to see
the best season that he's had in a while.
He is having the best season that he is having in a while. I have nothing toward this is not a Patrick Mahomes conversation. He is balling
Okay.
out, and when he balls out, great things happen. I just don't want none of these receivers to let him down. Which I think they will.
And they will. They will.
I think that these core of guys will let him down on
Maybe
offense.
with an injury.
There's a season. This is one of the first times I've ever seen this season. I've seen Travis Kelce drop a wide open touchdown per game.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen with my own eyes.
But
All
that's
those
what-
other
but
years,
that's
that's
what
a
I was talking
touchdown.
about. That's what I was talking to you about earlier, and we talked about it on this podcast, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, is I wasn't worried about the Chiefs because it was the veterans making the mistakes. That's not going to last all season. Now, if it was rookies and, newer people on the team making all these mistakes, okay, that might not get fixed faster than you think. These are veterans. That stuff's going to smooth itself out. It is smoothing itself out. Like we said, has Travis Kelce really made any more mistakes, especially since that one where he just gifted the Eagles a pick because he couldn't catch the ball? No. He's been playing fine. I know it's not about Patrick Mahomes, but last thing I'm going to end on, because we're talking about, well, his receivers might let him down. Well, first off, it's his first straight game over 120 passer rating, so he's good there. Even with Rashee Rice back, and you say that, oh, Rashee Rice is the decoy or whatever, it's not going to work. It's not going to open up the game like you think, Calvin. He spread the ball to 9 different receivers, with 7 of those receivers logging at least 25 yards and 5 of them catching at least 3 passes. This was his second straight game with 73% completion rate, 250 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. So like I said, with Rice out there, he's still 9 different receivers, 7 logging at least 25 yards, 5 catching more than 3 or more. This is a whole new offense now with Rice out there.
All right. I'll give you all that. If that is true, because I've heard this twice already this season.
Okay.
I don't want to hear for the rest of the season ever again from any Chiefs fan say, we're back. That means the season's over. If the Chiefs have to be back from anything, they got all their weapons back. Everything's in line. Rice is back. Patrick Mahomes is playing good. So if they drop, I'm not saying they don't have to win the rest of their games, but I don't want to hear none of that. We're back, or their offense is going through a slump. Everything should be cool, right? Theoretically, there should be no more. If you say you're back again, especially when there's other teams that are not even back, they're to the moon. That means that there's urge for concern. So it seems like to me that the Chiefs fans and everybody's thinking the Chiefs are locked and loaded. They're only going up from here. And for them, I hope that is true. If not, it's going to be, some people are going to have to face some hard truths. And I ultimately think that hard truth is going to be, dang, this receiving core really wasted a Patrick Mahomes MVP season. And that would suck. That is ultimately what I think the Chiefs season is going to be. Dang.
No.
Rashee Rice let us down. Worthy let us down. Travis Kelce, man. Let us down.
That Broncos fandom getting to you.
Juju Smith, I would probably let us down.
That's
what I think this is going to come down to.
It's the Bronco fandom getting to you, man. I'm not going to lie. All right. We don't have to talk about the Chiefs anymore because you're just starting to.
I'm serious. If the Chiefs season is bad, that's going to be the reason.
I will say though,
pat down. They're making mistakes. Pacheco, Kareem Hunt let them down. And I'm gonna be sitting there I did tell you guys they were pretty big. Sorry.
If anything, I honestly think it'd be our defense that would let us down this year. I think if we can't get a pass rush at some point this season.
I seen a young dude from the Chiefs got hurt.
Oh yeah, they're rookie. Yeah, they're second. Well, and that's another thing too with the Chiefs. Actually, I know I said we got to be done. But the fact too, I guess the O-line, it's been playing good, but yet you have Josh Simmons who just left. No one knows what's going on there. So your first round, your franchise left tackle is no longer on the team. We don't know where he's at, and there's no information there. Then your second rounder gets hurt. We're out for the rest of the season, and he already had 2 injuries before this game, week 1 and week 5. So he might just be injury prone. So not a good start there in that regard of the draft.
Trey Smith hurt. I see he got hurt during the game, but I was halfway watching because I was watching. I had to keep some mini screen.
No, he got hurt, but he's fine. They're cool. Fine.
This is one last thing I want to say about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, you are playing good, but you're not slick, brother. You're not slick. I seen you throw 3 picks. 3 picks that were dropped. 3 picks that were dropped. If that's a good team, so I think 1 or 2 of those could have been pick sixes.
One probably should have got picked if it was a good team.
No, it has to be. Like, come on.
Least.
You did win the game, played flawlessly, but hey, I see those picks with my own 2 eyes.
Yeah, you caught me. I was trying to leave that off. You caught me. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the NFC, because this conference grabs my attention week after week. I'm just going to ask you straight up. Do you have one team that you think is just better than the rest or can reach a Super Bowl for sure? Okay, let's hear it.
I got 2.
Okay.
One is the Eagles. One is Jalen Hurts balled out. All the Jalen Hurts haters need to be quiet. They need to stop talking immediately. Don't say nothing. You might need to not say anything to him for the next month of the season. I don't care how bad he plays next game. What he just did the week before was ridiculous. He did everything that people said he could not do. Literally.
And we've talked about this. He usually answers the call. I would say 9 out of 10 times when it comes to, hey, you can't pass the ball, and then they decide to pass, and he does well. I'd say 9 out of 10. You can argue 8 out of 10, and I'd probably still agree with you. That's fine. I'd go down to 8 out of 10 times. He still proves it. But what I'm getting at is 80%, 90%, doesn't matter. He's going to prove that he can pass the ball. Is that their game? No. Is he necessarily the best thrower in the league? Hell no. But can he do it? Yes. Does he have the receivers to do it? Yes. So I don't know why this is always brought up. Well, it's because the wide receivers complain, but I don't know why that's always brought up. I know he can throw the ball when he needs to. I know they can become a passing team for a game if they need to. The problem with them, and I agree with you, Eagles is one of my teams too. My issue is, and I just want to see if you think it's a problem right now, they can't run the ball, Ty. And I don't know why. I actually do not know why. Their line should be good. Barkley's coming off an historic season. Like, I get it. Teams might be more focused on the run, but now they're passing. So if that's going to work, maybe it opens up the run game. Maybe we see Barkley come out more, but that's just my big, and I'm not, right now it's a minor thing for me. And now if this continues on all season that they can't run the ball in the next few weeks, then I'm going to get a little more nervous because that's when the Eagles are the best. Yes, I get it. I'm going to defend Hurts. I'm going to say that he had a great passing game. I'm going to say that he answers the call. But the Eagles are the best when it is run first. They are. They just are. So if they can't get that run figured out, I'm not nervous yet, but there should be no reason you guys can't run the ball.
That's a fact. I think it really is. Like, theoretically, yes, they should be, but I think that the game of football is a hard game. They went on a deep run, running, grinding, and pounding. You're running for all those yards, breaking those tackles, jumping over dudes backwards. That is like, I think that, that their bodies, especially Barkley's, the O-line, it's like, dang, we got to ground and pound again. They probably need, I think later in the season, if they can try to rely on, it could be a risky strategy to consistently rely on Hurts to pass the ball, but give Saquon some time to rest. Running backs are like, they have miles on their bodies, just like everybody else, but they're like race cars that slam into things and pound and get pounded and all that. So he probably is on a little cooldown meter. Like, actually, like, for him to duplicate the season that he had last year, I think that would be unrealistic. Or that would be like, wow, he's on one of the greatest running back runs of all time. So I think this is kind of the natural progression for people that do that. Like, Derrick Henry had a monster season last year. Probably time for him to cool down. CMC, same thing. CMC's a little bit more, I guess he had a little bit longer of a streak, but same degree. Both of his knees were absolutely fried after that, and he's back to it. I think they're just running backs up and down. Really hard to ask them to be good like that at an elite level multiple years in a row. If you do, you've got like Barry Sanders on your hands.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because you might be onto something here. Are the Eagles using him too much? Because you think about it, all he accomplished last year, right? I mean, record-setting numbers are basically record-setting numbers, or it was going to be record-setting numbers. Let's look at this season, right? So far in the 2025 regular season, 113 carries, right? That's third in the league, 113. All right. So then you go to, let's go to the backup here, right? Will Shipley, who's second on the depth chart, has 4 carries. Okay, well, that's not very good. Well, you did pick up Tank Bigsby. You did pick him up. So, and he was doing fairly well before he came here. So, what do his numbers look like? He has 6 carries. So you have someone taking your third stringer taking up 6 carries, your second stringer having 4 carries, and then your starter, who had a historic season last year, is up to 113. You can't spread it out a little more evenly, especially Takes Bigsby.
He's good. It's a good. I like.
Promising.
There were times where people were saying he was RB. He could be RB1 in Jacksonville.
That's what I'm saying. Now, AJ Dillon does have 12 carries. I forgot to throw him out there. But again, no one has over 15. He's the only one outside Barkley that has over 10. But no one has over 15. And Barkley has over 100.
Yeah. I think they need to, like, you know, I'm surprised. Maybe this is like really forward thinking. I think that running backs need to get like some need to get the Kawhi treatment, the load management treatment. And I think your team should, if you're actually a good team like the Eagles and you are actually a well-rounded team, you should be able to survive. Like they have 2 elite receivers, or one receiver number 1 and the best receiver number 2 you can have. Like your team should, in a good line, you're in a good defense, you should theoretically be able to survive with, yeah, like you're saying, cutting it. I'm not gonna say cut his snaps in half, but like, you know,
No, they don't even have to do that.
maybe you put him on the field and you use him in the receiving game. Maybe you don't put him in the run blocking or the pass blocking. Maybe you just use some of those other guys and really try to like ease that body into, especially if you know you are A, gonna make the playoffs, B, probably gonna get a high seed.
Well, and think about it too. Just because we mentioned that it was 133 carries, that doesn't mean that it was just 133 snaps. You're right. He's also taking hits when he has to pass block. He's also just taking hits when he runs the ball. Yeah, can we not get someone else in there to do the job? Are the others that bad at all the other aspects of the game?
They
I
can't
get
do
it.
that, man.
He's your franchise running back, but yes, this is a position that doesn't really have a lot of miles on him.
Yeah,
Probably
and
Derrick Henry's another one that needs to have a little bit. Well, they've actually haven't been running with him as much, and that my argument would be probably they need to run with him more. But I was gonna say maybe even someone like him, if they used him a lot, would be another running back that you might want to loosen up on a little bit.
Yeah, I think like the Eagles aren't in a position like the 49ers to where like your team is depleted and you have to be CMC centric and give the ball to CMC every screen pass, run pass. If you don't have, the Eagles literally do not have to do that. Jalen Hurts just proved it. We can drop back, we can pass this ball, we can mix it up. Jalen Hurts can run the ball himself. He can do it
and
himself.
That's something else they haven't really done. I would like to see a little bit more of that as well. I think they're missing that a little bit this season too. But again, all these wide receivers, I say all these, the 2 wide receivers are just cause of drama. They want the ball. So then it's like the coach has to make them happy. And then you have Barkley, who is being the good sport here and said, well, I don't really care if I haven't topped 60 yards. I'm just here for the team wins. This is what we're trying to do, is win the game.
What we're really describing is bad coaching.
What'd you say?
What we're really describing really is just bad coaching.
I mean, Nick Sirianni's been...
And the new OC, I think Sirianni's cool. The new OC, I bet another sports psychological position. You get a new job, you as the OC of the defending champs, you probably want to do a really good job and duplicate the same amount of production. And if the production drops, they're going to point to you and say, you are not good. And he's probably feels a little bit of just like, I got to hit this threshold of rushing yards. In reality, that's actually hurting the team. It's actually hurting the team. Regardless of the receiver saying, it's actually, you're not doing the entire program, entire organization, and Saquon Barkley any justice, because you're just out there running these game plans that are trying to, it's an ego-based thing right there. That could be just my psychology brain working.
No, I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes, Hurts can throw the ball. We've seen him even outperform the best of the best in Patrick Mahomes in Super Bowls. We saw what he can do last game. Again, I'm going to defend Hurts. I'm going to say that he can pass the ball. Am I saying he's the best passer? Hell no, I'm not saying that. And I'm not ever going to say that. But it's also a fact, 2 things can be true, that the Eagles are the best when they're a run-first offense. It's just facts. And then Hurts comes in and cleans it up and doesn't really make mistakes, and that's how you win games. So that's my biggest thing there. Last question before you give me, because you said you had 2 teams. We don't have to dive really deep into this, but is there any chance at all? Any chance? Because last, 2 decades, there has been a different winner in this division. Is there any chance the Cowboys win this one and win the division this year? Any chance with that offense and Dak Prescott, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb? I don't think so either. I think it's because of their defense.
Yeah, their defense is going to sell them. They're just bound to.
Yeah, but their
Unless Dak
offense.
Prescott wins MVP. If he can win the MVP, yes,
I mean, he's up there right now for
he
some
is.
voting. I mean, he's
He
playing
is.
well.
I think even with the Commanders being down and then beating the
Yep,
Commanders, the Giants are a frisky team. The NFC and obviously the Eagles. NFC East is the division is not quite bad enough for that defense to like actually consistently win them games.
that's fair. That's fair.
If they
All
were
right.
like if you put them in the AFC North, probably yeah, for sure they got a real shot, 100%.
Yeah,
But in
the
this division,
AFC
no.
North. That's sad too, from what we saw with Pittsburgh. I was hoping for a little more. It looked like it was going to be a runaway. I was like, maybe this is going to be a more legitimate Steelers team, and then we saw what happened there. What was your second team in the NFC that you think can reach the Super Bowl besides the Eagles?
I was just talking about one of these guys. He's turning into one of my favorite players. Now I'm feeling the Seahawks, man. I think people
Okay.
are still
Cool.
scared to like Sam Darnold, but he's not even quietly. He's out loudly playing 2 seasons in a row. He's proved that he can be a quality quarterback in the regular season. You know, will this translate to the postseason? I don't know yet. But as of right now, he's pretty locked in. I would say JSN right now today is he's playing like he's the best receiver in the NFL right now. That's just a fact. Based on what he did this season, he is playing elite. And watching the game last time, I seen this other guy make a catch. I'm like, dang, man, people thought he would fall off a little bit, but he's quietly a really good receiver. Number 2, Cooper Kupp. Wow. He's back there. Then the running backs. Running backs are pretty solid. Got Kenneth Walker. Then you got Charbonnet. That's a great backfield. And their defense, I feel like the Seahawks typically have a pretty middle of the pack to almost good defense. And I think that I don't know. I know it's crazy to say it. I trust Sam Darnold. And I'm a big fan of maybe that's my thing. Maybe in my mind, that's what lets me know you are a real elite offense. Do you have a quarterback that can get the ball to a wide receiver number 1? And they do. Every game, I'm like, oh man, I could probably bet. Literally yesterday, I thought, because I did not bet this game. I'm sitting in my car. I said, I should bet JSN 100 yards and a touchdown. Guess what he had? 100 yards and a touchdown. His pants, the ref had to protect him. The ref was already protecting him like this. Move. Don't get on JSN. Leave him alone. I've seen people on Twitter saying if that was a Chiefs fan, Twitter would have broke.
Yeah, no, actually. They said, let this happen to a Chief. That's funny. But no, I agree with you. Jackson Smith and Jigba is really great. The fact that Cooper Kupp's your second in command are really great. Sam Darnold has been looking good. The run game's still kind of a question mark for me, but they do have some good options there at the running back. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to be all that worrisome further down the road. Defense has been looking great this season, or has been looking pretty good this season, especially against the Texans there. I'm not sure if they're quite, for me, there as in a true Super Bowl contender, but I do agree with you with the Eagles. I think my other one right now, at least, I'd go the Eagles. I'm gonna play fair here and keep it to 2 like you did. We can talk about maybe some other outliers here if we want, because I think the Seahawks are an outlier in my mind. Obviously, to you, they're not. I would go the Rams. I really like this Rams team, Ty. I know we talked about it last week, I believe. We talked about what Matthew Stafford has been doing, so I'm not really going to go more into that. But let's just say he's having one of the best seasons of his career at this age. And when he had a career similar to this, it was the last time they won the Super Bowl. You asked the question, you posed the question last week. What is this team going to look like with no Puka Nacua? The NFL's reception leader, the guy that's 36.6% of Los Angeles' passing offense. What are they going to be? Well, Ty, we learned that. They utilized 13 personnel, which is 1 running back, 3 tight ends, on 24 of 59 plays. The Rams ran just 6 such plays from 2021 through 2024. So they're adapting without him. They're going a little more 13 personnel here. Matthew Stafford, as I mentioned, playing at a high level. What did he look like without a guy, again, that's taking up 36.6% of the passing? He spread the ball around more than he had all year. 10 different players recorded a reception. 3 tight ends caught the passes on Stafford's 3 first attempts. Again, going that 13 personnel. And the other one, Ferguson, that was his first career touchdown. LA moved the ball with ease. It didn't look like, at least in the first half, reaching the 10-yard line on 3 of its first 4 drives, finishing those marches with touchdown tosses. Devontae Adams stepped up.
Big time.
Yeah, I mean, this team, again, with the way Stafford's playing, the way that they look, even without their leading receiver, their number one. Again, I think this is a team that could reach the Super Bowl, can do some serious damage. The defense finally looked like a Rams defense. Last thing I'll say about Stafford. Sunday's win was also Stafford's second career game tie with 5 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and his first career game on the road. Again, he's playing lights out right now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if he's in the U.S. or not. And the Devontae Adams became the first wide receiver with that 3 receiving touchdowns in an international game. Maybe that's who the new receiver will be instead of Puka.
Yeah.
Yep. So
the Rams. I like the Rams too. Honestly, I think there's just so many good offenses in the NFC. So many good offenses. It's like, man, they're putting up numbers. Even I know the Bucks lost against the Lions.
Yep.
Lions have a great offense as well. Bucks, they didn't play the best, but even then, all these offenses are explosive. And you're right. The Rams are definitely up there. Maybe the Seahawks recency bias is in my head. The Rams definitely up there too. I have huge respect for the Rams. Like you said, we already talked about this. And when Puka could come back and be the same, even if he's a little less production, still just elite. Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. Only thing I have to say about the Rams is I'm kind of upset with Kyron Williams on my fantasy team, and the fact that Stafford 5 touchdowns, Kyron Williams is 0.
Yeah.
0. Come on, let him eat. Let him eat back there a little bit. Come on, let him just get one. Just one of them here, man. Give him a rock. But Rams, I like them.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good team. Now, talk about the outliers, and I think a lot of it's just because of injuries and stuff. Bucks would be another outlier for me. If they could get everyone back, they would look really, really good. I mean, Mayfield was trying his best. He was trying his best. Just quite weren't there, and I think a lot of the injuries is going to hold them back from reaching a Super Bowl. Now, of course, we're just going into week 8, but right now, I have to leave them on an outsider because of that. 49ers, also an outsider for me for the Super Bowl because of injuries. But then again, you're in a Shanahan offense. It is Shanahan system. Christian McCaffrey went off. It doesn't matter if it's Brock Purdy or Mac Jones. It's, how the offense is tailored is going to work in their favor. But they also have a lot of injuries that they have to overcome to get to that point. Again, the Bucks too. I didn't even mention, like, not only are they missing their receivers, they're missing their running back and Bucky Irving. So they're injury prone. 49ers are injury prone. Someone that's not necessarily injury prone, but is still an outlier for me, and I was very high on at first, was the Packers. I just can't trust that offense right now. I can't.
Yeah, LaFleur, I'm kind of looking at you. He's an offensive guru, right? Am I mistaken? He's an offensive guru. Hey, all these offensive gurus, you guys are on alert. There's a couple offensive gurus that's supposed to be scheming up, touchdown, quarterback. I don't know, man. Some of y'all lying on your resume. Y'all looking, like, for real. Sean Payton, come on, bro. I'm still thinking about that. Offensive guru. It's crazy. I'm saying right now there's 2 truly trusted offensive gurus. Give it to Andy Reid.
Okay.
I'm giving Shanahan. I'm giving McVay. Those are my 3 gurus. The rest of those guys, not that they're not really smart.
Yeah.
Gurus.
I like that list. I can get behind that
Those
list.
Those are proven guys that can take a group of people and win a Super Bowl or get there.
I'd agree. No,
with less.
I can hop on that list. I could definitely agree with that list. Now, you were saying, speaking of offensive gurus, we were talking about the Packers. I can't trust that offense. I can't trust those receivers. Jordan Love just does not look super promising as I want him to look, especially with those receivers that they have. Yeah, I'm not impressed, Ty. And the defense, yes, Micah Parsons is still causing disruption, but there's lapses in that defense here and there.
Parsons reliant, I think. I think that's what they've kind of shifted towards. Parsons, like, I feel like late in the games, like, I really hope Parsons gets this sack against the Cardinals and who aren't good. He has to get a clutch sack. Not good. And another thing, Another connection I'm making. I said I like teams that have a quarterback that can get a wide receiver one the ball. Packers don't have a wide receiver one. Matthew Golden was supposed to be who Emeka Ibuka was. He's supposed to be the over the top. He's just elite number one receiver. Green Bay's. He's not that. I have him on my fantasy. I watch his games. I know what his stats are. Pretty underwhelming so far.
That's fair. And I think, too, we haven't talked about, but Detroit, yes, their secondary is banged up right now. But Detroit is another team that I think could. It's weird to say. I know. It's weird to say. Even with their recent success, it's still weird to say that the Lions could make the Super Bowl. And I think it's very possible. Again, you have to. I mean, we saw with the banged up secondary, if they can still do it, but can you do that all through the playoffs? I don't know. Obviously, we've been talking about long seasons still left, so players can come back. Trades are going to happen. You're going to get new players, this and that.
I don't know. So, I think what the Lions got is I think they got the sneaky storyline narrative that I could see it now. I could see it now. If the Lions do make the Super Bowl and they play the Chiefs, the flashback to when Brent punched Juju. And it's gonna come down. It's gonna be the 30 for 30. They're probably already scheming up a mini 30 for 30 E60 about that whole thing. Watch, I'm telling you. See, they got the narrative boost. They got the chip on their shoulder.
That's fair. So I think just to wrap this one up, I think Detroit's one team that I could see making the Super Bowl. But if I'm putting my top two right now after Week 7, where everything stands with injuries and whatnot, I think I would be confident in saying the Eagles, and I think I'd be confident in saying the Rams. And then you had the Eagles and the Seahawks. Again, I'm not hating on the Seahawks.
The Eagles are my strong pick, and then Seahawks are my I'm just gonna take a flyer on the Seahawks. And if I'm wrong on it, oh well. But the Seahawks, JSN, I can just imagine him NFC Championship game going up, doing something crazy. If I could buy stock, I would take maybe, I hate to say this, take 2% of my Lamar stock and drop it on some JSN. Okay. Still have huge bulk stock of Lamar that's to the ceiling. Take a little bit.
I honestly think it is Sam Darnold that's holding me back with the Seahawks here, because we saw this last year, Ty. We saw this exact same thing last year. And
improvement.
Okay, but what I'm saying is he looked good in the regular season.
He did.
And then they started throwing him up in the air, splashing water on him, and then they lose their next two. They crumbled after that.
He's seen ghosts.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, it's fun right now when everything's working right. It's regular season. Yeah, you're fighting for, division. You're fighting for at least a decent seed. But it's not really that true pressure of, if we lose this, we're going home. Or this game is for the division title right here, right now. Not you worked up to it. It's right. You win this game, you win the division, you lose it, you lose the division. Stuff like that. I don't know if he's ready for that pressure. Again,
fair enough.
Improvement, yes. Improvement, sure. But I need to see how he plays towards the regular season again. That's just what I saw last year. So I think that's what's holding me back. But yes, the weapons they have, again, you get the running game going. You have good weapons there. Just get that going. You have good receivers. You have a defense that's playing well right now. Team that easily, and I shouldn't say easily, but a team that can make the Super Bowl for sure.
They have the potential. You know what I want to see? You know what I want to see? I'm thinking of narratives now. I want to see the real who came back really, who is back, and who biggest comeback story narrative in the play. I want to see the Seahawks and the Bucks play at some point in the playoffs. I think that would just be amazing. One person is really the true comeback player, and the other one is a fraud. He's a fraud.
You're funny, dude.
He's a fraud.
You're hilarious, man. Well, Ty, we're hitting that hour mark. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or any other team you need to mention, or any other game you wanted to bring up?
Let me think. I'm gonna apologize. To Riley Moss and Alex Singleton. You guys gained some more time. Riley Moss, I've seen some crazy stat about you and PS2 on allowed catches. It's immaculate. You're doing well, man. PFF loves Riley Moss, by the way. PFF and Riley Moss are like this. And I give him a solid performance yesterday. And Alex Singletary, he forced that pick, Jackson Dart. If you didn't see it, running back there, blew up Cam Scatterboo and scared Jack starting to do the pick. So you guys are safe in my graces. Broncos player who's not safe, Troy Franklin Jr. You had that catch, but you had a lot of drops, my guy. You had some drops in the first quarter that I remember. Vito can't do none of that mess no more. That's all I got.
Last thing I'll say, and then we already kind of talked about it, but yeah, hey man, I don't think they're going to do any damage, but the Bears are on a 4-game win streak, but it is not to the credit of Caleb Williams. So just right now, it's their defense and their running game that's holding them. But hey, there you go. 4 wins in a row for them. So that's kind of interesting. I'm making that division a little more fun, I guess.
Great shift. Great shift is happening. Caleb 4-game win streak. Drake May 4-game win streak.
Drake
Nick's 4-game win streak.
Drake May is more, he's actually helping.
He is. I'm just
but I know what you're saying. So, all right, I think that's all we have. Like I said, reaching over an hour. God, Ty, that didn't even feel like an hour. That flew by.
No.
That flew by. I checked the time. I was like, oh, we're probably about 40 minutes in. Nope, we are at an hour. So that is all that we have for this episode of For What It's Worth. If you hung out with us the whole time, seriously, we really, really appreciate it. And if you hung out this whole time, you must have liked what you heard. So go ahead, just hit that subscribe button. It's right down there, literally, phone, on your computer, doesn't matter. It's right there. So just go ahead, hit that. We're on socials. We're on TikTok, Instagram, literally anything. Just look at what our username is on YouTube. Type that in. You'll find us. Ty, is there anything else besides football that you wanted to lead or end with?
NBA is back on.
That's right.
LeBron to go. Let's go Wemby to win MVP. So I got a jersey on.
All right, fair enough. I don't think I'm ready to give my NBA takes yet. I think I need to do a little more research into who I want. But I did see that Stephen A. at least said that he thinks that the Mavs can win it all. Are you on that boat yet this year?
No, I got to see Cooper Flag. I got to see that. Well, Kyrie's hurt in the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And I got to see Cooper Flag play. I think he's going to be good, but I don't know how good. I mean, if he's amazing, like they saying, I don't even want to get on this topic.
Yeah, that's
People
fine.
use the word generational way too much in the NBA draft. Every player is generational.
Yep.
I don't think he's a good player. Generational. Wemby's generational. Literally.
Yeah.
We just seen a generational player this generational. This generation.
We can't be having a generational player every year. That's not generational. That's just a good yearly player then.
That's fact. Yeah, hey, no, real stuff though. The next NBA draft does have 3 generational players. That's a fact. That was seriously. Last draft, no. This next one, yes.
Fair enough. Well, of course, we're going to stick with NFL through the rest of the season. But for what it's worth, we do dive into the NBA once the NFL season's over. We kind of pick it up where the NBA, of course, we watch throughout the season, but we kind of really pick up after the NFL season. So if you love the NBA, we will have some content for you down the road. But good NFL talk. Ty, it was always fun, as always, weekly. We're doing this, and it's always a good time. Love to hear your insights, and just make sure you don't let that Broncos fandom get to your brain too much, man. You're talking a little crazy. I couldn't believe it, man. I just we already discussed
he actually thinks this.
No, I'm not even really saying like it's a dumb take or anything. Like you can have your own opinions. I just don't understand how you don't see what Rashee Rice does for this offense and how better weapons is going to be better product.
Chiefs gonna have to beat the Broncos for me to believe that.
You know what? That's fair. Here's where your saving grace is with this argument, and I'm going to tell you right now what your saving grace is. It's the fact that we haven't played really anyone and won against really anyone. That's your saving grace there. Now, if we beat a good team, if we beat the Colts or someone like that, I'd be like, Ty, you're actually nuts right now. But I'm going to let you slide this one. I'm going to let this one go. We haven't played anyone that great. I'll let that one go. But as I mentioned, for what it's worth, episode 36, we appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next time, have a good one.